The highway outside Nevada looked endless under the cold midnight sky. Tyler had been driving his old black pickup for nearly 6 hours after leaving Las Vegas, trying to reach a small desert town before sunrise. The road was empty except for a strange red car that kept appearing behind him every few miles. At first, he thought it was just another traveler, but something felt wrong. No matter how fast Tyler drove, the car always stayed the same distance away, its headlights glowing unnaturally bright in his rearview mirror. When he stopped at an abandoned gas station, the red car vanished completely. The silence in the desert was terrifying. Then Tyler noticed deep scratch marks all over his truck doors, like someone had clawed at the metal while he was driving. Trying to calm himself, Tyler got back on the road, but his radio suddenly turned on by itself. A woman's voice whispered through the static, "Don't let him catch you." Before Tyler could react, the red car appeared beside him out of nowhere. Its windows were pitch black, but he could feel someone staring at him from inside. The driver slowly turned toward him, a pale man with hollow eyes and burned skin stretched across his face. Tyler slammed the gas pedal, speeding through the desert highway, while the red car chased him through the darkness. His truck shook violently as the temperature inside dropped. Then he saw something horrifying. The license plate on the red car had the same number as a deadly highway accident from 20 years earlier. Panicking, Tyler swerved onto a dirt road leading into the empty desert. The red car followed without making a sound. Suddenly, his engine died. The truck rolled to a stop beside an old rusted road sign half buried in the sand. Tyler grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside, hearing only the wind. The red car sat 30 feet away with its headlights pointed directly at him. Slowly, the driver's door creaked open, but no one stepped out. Instead, Tyler heard footsteps, circling him in the darkness. Faster, closer, breathing echoed behind his neck. When he turned around, the burned man was standing inches from his face, smiling with black teeth. Tyler screamed and ran back to the truck, but the doors locked themselves. The headlights of the red car suddenly went dark. The next morning, police found Tyler's truck abandoned in the desert with the engine still running. Deep handprints were pressed into the windows from the inside, and Tyler was never seen again. Locals who drive that highway at night still report seeing a red car following them through the desert. They say if the headlights appear behind you 3 times, you should never pull over, because the driver isn't looking for directions. He's looking for a passenger. Rain hammered the empty highway outside. Texas as Marcus drove through the night in his dark blue Mustang. He had ignored every warning about taking the old back road through the forest, but his phone GPS claimed it was the fastest way home. For almost an hour, he hadn't passed another car. No gas stations, no houses, just endless trees and the sound of rain smashing against the windshield. Then his headlights caught something standing in the middle of the road. A young woman wearing a torn white dress, completely barefoot despite the freezing storm. Marcus slammed the brakes just inches before hitting her. The woman slowly walked toward the passenger side of the car. Her face was pale, almost gray, and her wet black hair covered most of her eyes.
"Please," she whispered, "he's coming."
Marcus hesitated, but against his better judgment, he unlocked the door. The moment she sat down, the temperature inside the car dropped so low his windows fogged instantly. She never blinked, never moved, just stared forward at the dark road ahead. Trying to break the silence, Marcus asked where she lived. The woman pointed farther down the highway toward the forest.
"He died there," she said softly.
Before Marcus could ask what she meant, his headlights revealed another car behind them, an old rusted sheriff's cruiser with broken headlights. It stayed close to Marcus's bumper no matter how fast he drove. The woman suddenly grabbed his arm with icy fingers hard enough to leave bruises. "Don't stop," she whispered again, her voice trembling. "He likes when people stop." The sheriff's cruiser turned on its siren. Marcus panicked. He pulled onto the shoulder as the cruiser rolled silently behind them, but something felt wrong immediately. There was no sound from the engine. No radio chatter, no movement inside. Then the driver's door slowly opened. A tall man stepped out wearing an old sheriff uniform soaked in dark blood. Half of his face looked crushed like it had gone through a windshield. He dragged one leg as he walked toward Marcus's Mustang. The woman beside Marcus began crying quietly. "I told you not to stop." The dead sheriff reached the driver's window and tapped the glass 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. Marcus froze as the sheriff smiled with shattered teeth and pointed toward the woman in the passenger seat. "She killed us both," he whispered. Suddenly the woman screamed, her face twisting into something inhuman. Her jaw stretched open impossibly wide while black liquid poured from her mouth. The lights inside the Mustang exploded. Marcus tried to start the engine, but every mirror inside the car now reflected the dead sheriff standing behind him. Even though he was still outside, Then the doors locked. The next morning, police discovered Marcus's Mustang, abandoned on the roadside with every window shattered from the inside. There was no sign of Marcus or the mysterious woman, but old records revealed something terrifying. 20. Deep in the mountains of Colorado, Ethan drove his silver Jeep along a narrow, snow-covered road after leaving a ski resort party late at night. His friends had warned him not to take the shortcut through Black Hollow Pass because, too many crashes happened there during winter. But Ethan was tired and wanted to get home faster. Snowstorm winds slammed against the Jeep, while the forest around him disappeared into darkness. His radio played old country
Music until...
Suddenly, the sound warped into heavy static. Then a man's voice whispered through the speakers, "Turn around before the bridge." Ethan frowned and hit the radio off, but a few seconds later, his GPS screen went black. The temperature inside the Jeep dropped so fast his breath became visible. That was when he noticed another vehicle behind him, an old black station wagon with only one working headlight. It stayed close no matter how fast Ethan drove through the icy curves. Every time lightning flashed across the mountains, he could see the station. Wagon's front grille twisted like it had been crushed in a horrible accident. Trying to stay calm, Ethan sped toward the bridge ahead. But as he crossed it, he saw a figure standing in the middle of the road on the other side. A little boy wearing a winter coat covered in snow. Ethan slammed the brakes and skidded sideways. The child slowly raised one hand and pointed toward the frozen river below the bridge. Confused, Ethan stepped out of the Jeep into the freezing wind. "Hey kid, are you okay?" he shouted. The boy never answered. Instead, he pointed again toward the river. Ethan looked down and felt his stomach drop. Beneath the cracked ice was the wreckage of the same. Black station, wagon now following him. Rusted, frozen solid, half submerged in the water. Then whose headlights were behind him? A loud engine roared across the bridge. Ethan turned around, just as the black station wagon sped directly toward him without slowing down. Behind the wheel sat a woman with blood running from her, empty eye sockets, while two pale children stared from the back seat. The vehicle smashed through Ethan's Jeep like a ghost, causing the entire bridge to shake violently. Ethan fell backward into the snow as the station wagon disappeared into the storm. The little boy standing near the road was gone. Panicking, Ethan climbed back into his Jeep and drove away as fast as possible. But when he looked into the rearview mirror, snow-covered handprints slowly appeared on the inside of the back window. One by one, small child-sized hands pressing against the glass from inside the Jeep. Ethan never made it home. 3 days later, search teams found his Jeep abandoned near Black Hollow. Pass with the engine still running and the driver's door hanging open, fresh footprints circled the vehicle before leading onto the frozen river, where they suddenly stopped. Locals say the ghost family still haunts the mountain road every winter, and if a child appears on the